welcome to my Etsy channel, where the purpose of this channel is to help you build a thriving business on Etsy. Welcome to another episode of Etsy Shop Critique. Today I will be doing a critique on the store called Beadwork Seed Beady. So thank you, Renata, for signing up for my critique. I'm sorry it took a little bit longer, but here we go. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I normally do is I just pick a listing to do a review on. So I'm doing a review on this actual listing. And the first thing I always talk about is product photography. And product photography is one of the most important, or not the most, but one of the highest important qualities of your store. So the first thing you have to make sure is that whatever you're selling, the product, the photo is amazing. It's compelling. Somebody's going to want to click on it and buy it. So you're going to have two buyers. You're going to have the buyer that was looking for a flower pendant and they found your listing and they purchased from you. And then you're also going to market to the buyer that wasn't particularly looking for a pendant, ran into it somehow, and wants to buy it because the photo is so amazing. They want to click on the photo, they want to learn more about your product, and you land a sale. So you're going to have those two type of customers. The reason why I picked this listing, it was just to kind of give you a challenge one, because this one, when you look at the flower, if you don't know that it's a flower pendant, you really don't know what you're buying. It looks like is like it looks like a flower, but what is the purpose of it, right? So it looks like, at first I thought it was just a flower, like a decoration, maybe like a flower that you sit on the desk or you. So there's a little bit of confusion on that, on knowing exactly what the person is buying. So the person, a lot of people, you have to think in the sense of when you are buying as an e-commerce platform, your photos are everything. So your photo, it should be like storytelling. It tells the customer or the potential customer what you are actually selling. If the potential customer is browsing through the Etsy search results and they really don't know what they're looking at, they're going to continue. But if they know right away it's a pendant and they're like, wow, this is a really cool flower pendant, they're going to click on the photo and then buy from you, hopefully buy from you. However, because there's a confusion and you're trying to think of what is it? Is it a flower? Is it made out of glass? What am I looking at? Right? It's beautiful, but what am I looking at? If it doesn't feed a purpose for them, right? A purpose for that buyer to buy, then they're not going to click on the actual listing and buy from you. So the first thing I would say is if you could take this flower and put it on a shirt or put it on a dress, kind of style the flower, that's going to probably increase the likelihood of someone clicking on it, because then they'll have a clear understanding that this is a flower pendant versus them trying to figure out what exactly they're buying. So that would be my first suggestion. You do have a lot of photos in different angles, which is really good. Your photos are not that bad, to be honest with you. Can it be taken to a whole level, a new level? Of course. So your photos are not bad, but they're amazing, right? That's what you gotta almost like answer your own self, right? So your product is beautiful. Now you have to showcase it in a way that someone's gonna want to buy it, but also in a way that someone has an understanding of what exactly they're buying. If there's some type of confusion, most likely they won't click to learn more, and therefore you won't get the sale and they'll just keep shopping somewhere else. So my first suggestion is to have the product on someone so that way they know exactly what they're buying. Keep in mind that a bad photo could prevent you from a sale, no matter how amazing your product is. Your product can be super amazing. It could be, the best thing, the best product you ever sold, the best product Etsy ever had. However, if the photo doesn't represent that and the person is confused to what they're buying, then therefore it will be really, really hard for you to go ahead and get the sale. So that would be my first suggestion. I will also add at the end of the photos a call to action. Maybe remove this photo from here. And I will add a call to action saying, favorite this item. That way later on, when you add more products to your store, if you run a promotion, whatever, Etsy will send them a notification that this store has added additional products. Or if you were to put this product on sale or something, they will automatically get like a message saying that you actually discounted the product. So that way that you could have returning customers back. And then I will also add a call to action saying, click below to learn more about the flower pendant. Maybe something to those words. That way, if they are browsing through your pictures, they happen to see that one that says this is a flower pendant in case they didn't read this section, because a lot of people don't read. Unfortunately, it's all about visual. First, it's all about visual, and then they click, and then they read. So just keep that in mind. The second thing I always talk about is SEO. So as you know, SEO stands for search engine optimization. Is the way that you get found on search results like Yahoo, Bing, Xe search results, and any search engine out there. And SEO has different factors. Is your keyword on the title? Is your keyword in the listing description? Are you using keywords that you could rank organically? Are you using keywords that are oversaturated? That means a lot of people are using that keyword. How old is your listing? How old is your shop? Do you get a lot of likes? Do you get a lot of favors? All these signals or all these factors play a role of where your listing will appear in the search results. Now, I do want to say that any tools that I use in this video, they're down below this box. I left a link description. And the tool that I use is called XCrank if you don't use it right now. And XCrank is a free tool, or you could pay the pro. I use a free one, it's enough. To do research on keywords, categories, look at your competition. There's so many things you could do with it. Those are just a few of the things you could do. And what I noticed is that the keywords that you're using are oversaturated. That means that the keywords you're using, too many other people are using. So therefore, one is going to be very, very hard for you to rank organically. And organically means that you're not paying advertising. Somebody typed in woman's pendant and they found your listing. That's what organic means. And then it's also going to be very hard for you to rank in the first page of Xe, even if you paid ads, because now you're competing with listings that are much older than you, that have more SEO factors, like they've been longer, the listing is older. So Xe is gonna favor them. And even if Xe does favor yours because you are a new shop and you listed something, the likelihood of you being in the first page of Xe is going to be hard. You might be on the back end of Xe somewhere buried down and no one sees your actual item. This is where long tail keywords come in. So you will need to use those instead of using woman pendant, maybe flower woman pendant, something like that, to find additional keywords that other people are not using, that are not oversaturated, and that you could actually rank for. Right now, all of these keywords, with the exception of elegant beadwork, all of these have to go because they're not doing you any favor. If you go to Xe and you type in the word woman pendant, there's 829,000 other people using the same keyword. So guess what? You're competing with 829,000. It's going to be very hard. Excuse me. It's going to be very hard for you to rank organically or to be on the first page of Xe. If you browse through here and you keep browsing, I mean, you don't want to be on page 100 of Xe. You know, a lot of us, when we do shopping online, you know, we're lucky if we go to the third page of Xe, right? Because, or the third page of Google, or the third page of Bing. We're not going to keep searching for something. We normally, after maybe the fourth page, we might even give up and say, I like this one, I'll buy this one, right? They're not going to go to page 50, 51, 52 and keep going. So as you can see, we're already in page 4 and your listing is nowhere to be found. That's because your listing is somewhere on the bottom end where no one is seeing it, you see? And if you run an ad, it doesn't guarantee that you will be in the front page because there's so many other people competing. They have to alternate people and they have to alternate where they're going to show the ads. And another thing you have to consider is a lot of people adjust their cost per bid. So instead of paying the regular price, like let's say $4 a click or something like that, they want to pay just 10 cents per click, right? That way, if they have a budget of $10 a day, their budget could spread throughout the day. And then they could showcase their items more to more people. The downside of doing that, like putting a listing to 10 cents per click, if that listing is like this one, that 829,000 other people are competing for that same keyword, what's going to happen is that instead of you getting found and instead of it driving some traffic to you, it's not. You're going to run the ad, you're going to waste money, and you're going to still be stuffed all the way on the back end of Etsy because they're going to give priority to the people that are paying more for their ads, the ones that are paying, $2, $3, $4, whatever the cost per bid is for that particular item. So therefore, your listing wouldn't necessarily appear in the first page of Google, so or the first page of Etsy. So you have to keep that in mind. What I would do is go back and change your keywords. Right now, these are not doing you any good. If you look at women pendant, it's very high competition in Etsy and is not doing you any favors. Now, what I would do is just try to do long tail keywords by adding additional keywords in front of it. So flower woman pendant, and kind of seeing what comes up with that and doing the work. It does take a lot of work, so unfortunately it's just one of those things, but doing the work to find what keywords will work for you better. And even this one, you see, flower pendant is very high, so it's one of those that you are in an oversaturated market with the items that you sell. It doesn't mean that you can't make money or it's impossible to make money. It just means that you have to work harder. So when you don't, let's say, I don't know if you did or not, but if you didn't do market research to understand what you're selling, if it's like mature, right? If it's like steady, if it's growing, if it's like not growing, the market for what you sell. If you notice that it is an oversaturated market, right? And you want to start selling that, that means that instead of you working 10 hours a week and making a lot of money on a niche that's not oversaturated, you're going to have to work double more. You're going to have to spend more money in ads. You're going to have to market more. You're going to have to spend 20% on creating and 80% on marketing. And that means marketing on Pinterest, marketing on Facebook, running Facebook ads, doing Instagram ads. Doing anything and everything to get some attention to that listing. Because if you just rely on Etsy alone, because there's so many other people selling the same or similar products on Etsy, it's going to be really, really hard. And the other way that you could set your store apart from everyone else is making your store the best possible store, having the best banner, having, excellent customer service, always promoting your shop, always running ads, separating yourself from everyone else. And that's how you take your store from making some sales to going viral and like making a lot of sales and making this like your full-time job, or being having financial freedom, etc. But definitely you would need to go ahead and go back and play with this and keep playing with it until you find keywords that are either, for me, would be better medium competition, or better even low competition, but low and medium. And then also making sure they only pick keywords that describe your item. You don't want to put like just a regular word like pendant. That's too organic. So therefore, or too generic. So therefore, when you use a keyword like that, a pendant could be any type of pendant. So now you're marketing to anybody and everyone, and you want to stick with the flower pendant because that's what you're selling. So making sure that your keywords are very describes what you're selling. So when you put for girlfriend, that's too broad. You see, so this is a good keyword because you're targeting your audience. This keyword for girlfriend, you're not targeting your audience. So even woman pendant is not, I wouldn't say it's the best one, but it does fit your audience more. However, for girlfriend could be anything. If you were to type in, see how you typed in woman pendant and all these pendants came up. So that's good. So you're good there. But if you type in gift for her, was it gift for her? Let's check it again. Sorry. For girlfriend, right? If you type in for girlfriend, that's too broad. You're going to get everything and anything. That's another thing. A lot of people say, I don't understand. I get a lot of views. I get a lot of impressions. How come, I get a lot of impressions. How come I'm not making sales? Well, one, you're using keywords that are too over the top, right? Too oversaturated. You can also use keywords that are low to medium competition that are not oversaturated. However, because now you're using a keyword that is not targeting your audience, a lot of people are seeing the actual listing. Let's say you use a keyword that you can actually rank for. So a lot of people will see it. The downside of that is that because you're not targeting the right audience, no one's clicking on it. Or if people are clicking on it, they're leaving because they're not really interested in your product. But as you can see for girlfriend, we're getting bracelets, we're getting earrings, we're getting necklaces, we're getting um, even a card. I mean, there's so many things, pillows. So now you're targeting anybody. You lost your target audience. So therefore, you might get more impressions or more views depending on the keyword and how much competition you have. However, it won't make you the sale. So you definitely want to keep keywords that describe your item and that it describes it to the T. So what I would do is maybe put blue flower pendant, bead flower pendant, stuff like that, and keep playing with it and keep playing with it until you find keywords that are gonna go ahead and help you, right? Rank organically, and then that way also when you do an ad, you're not paying an arm and a leg. However, just keep in mind that if it does become a headache finding keywords, and you do the research and you do the research and you still can't find those particular keywords, you might have to just use the same keywords you have, just change the ones that actually don't go there. Like for girlfriend, you should remove that automatically. Like that shouldn't even be like, should I? It is too broad, so you should remove it. You might have to be stuck with those keywords, the ones that you have, like this one, and just up start boosting your sales by instead of doing, let's say, $5 a day, doing $15 a day, $20 a day of advertising. So that way you could get more views, more impressions, and drive more people. If you were to do that and increase your budgeting and you can't find keywords, make sure you use keywords that describe your item, even if they're oversaturated. That way when you are running ads, you could hit your target audience versus you running ads. You went up the price in ads. However, you're not targeting your audience and you're just wasting money. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. If you do find new keywords, right, you did the diligence, you spent some time, and you find these keywords, what you want to do is that you want to take the keywords and you want to put them like you did here. Now, the new way that X's doing their SEO is that they want you to use like a short title. So they want you to say like like have the main keyword in the beginning of the sentence and then have like a short description. You could do it or you could leave it how you have it. If you leave it how you have it, I would say separate the keywords by adding a comma. That's what I do on mine. And then what I would do is make sure that that main keyword, let's say this is the main keyword here, that you have that keyword in the first 160 characters, which you kind of do. Let me see. Yeah, you do. So that's great. That's because this is the list. This is called the meta description. Is what the potential customer sees when they find you on Google, and this is the snippet that they show to Google, to anybody that found you. So therefore, you want to make sure that SEO factor is having the keyword in your listing description and having the additional keywords that you're using for that particular item throughout your listing description as well. So you want to make sure that you add the listing description. You add the tags throughout your listing description. So you want to make sure they're all included in this section. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about is your listing description. So the listing description basically describes in details what you're selling. It's going to tell the customer the color, the shape, the size, how it was made, what product was used, the shipping policy, if you have a return policy, cancellation policy. Anything and everything the customer should know should be listed in the listing description. This is going to help you build credibility, and it's also going to avoid people asking you questions or messaging you about your listing. It actually really, really helps with it. You're still gonna get like some people that actually message you, because that's just the name of the game. I still get people that message me asking me questions even though everything's listed. So you're still gonna get those people occasionally. However, what I would do is make sure that you include everything for the people that do love to read and do love to get informed before they're buying. That way they have everything. It reduces the likelihood of someone sending you a message, and then it also will help you increase the likelihood of someone buying from you because they feel comfortable and they feel at ease with the information that you provided. What I would do is I would write a shorter description up here, and then I would try to separate this into sections, almost like how you did here. I have a little snippet in my store. I'll show you to kind of give you an idea. So I use emojis. You could use emojis or whatever you like. You do little stars like this. So I do description, where they're getting, what's included, how to order, how you will receive it, returns and refunds, and then I also have a backlink to my homepage on Etsy. You want to add a backlink, and the reason why is because sometimes the customer will get it at the end right here, and they usually click back and they leave your website or they leave your Etsy shop. So you want to keep them longer in your store. And the longer you keep them in the store, the more likelihood of them buying from you, right? The larger the likelihood of them buying. So you want to definitely keep them in your store the longer. So that's why you want to do that. Um, but definitely break it down into sections, easy to find. So if they're looking for shipping, it goes straight to shipping. If they're looking for returns and policy, it goes straight to there. That way it could be easy to read. Right now, it's a lot to read, and there's a lot of people out there that they have, their attention span is very short. They're not going to read all this, and they're going to probably get a little frustrated trying to figure out what is what and where's where. I would definitely talk a little bit more about shipping. I would say, shipping policy here, and kind of like put like little stars or something so see people know exactly what they're buying. And then I would put size, and then, talk about the size. So definitely work on the listing description to build the credibility. So keep in mind, SEO is how they found your actual product. The photo is what made them click on it. It's what's compelling for them to click on it. And then the listing description is what basically closes out the sale. Is what makes them say, "Oh, okay, I got everything I know or everything I wanted to know about this listing. I'm ready to buy." So those three components work together. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the curation of your shop. And the curation of your shop is how your store looks. The banner, um, the branding, is everything cohesive? Does it look like it's coming from the same store, etc. Um, I do think that your banner is nice. Um, can I do like the fact that you have different items that you sell on your banner. I like that you have worldwide shipping. I think that stands out for people that want to buy, and they're in a different um country than you are. I like the fact that you have like a little sales pitch here, shopping at what see by wedding occasion jewelry. I like that you have a tagline. So overall, your banner is really nice. If you look at the most prominent shops, they have their social media handles in their banners, and they also have like their hours of operation. So I would try to see how you could incorporate that or take your banner to the next level. I like the fact that you have a logo. A lot of people don't take the time to do that, so you did a really good job with that. Um, I like the fact that you have a photo of yourself. I think that's important to have one because people want to relate and know who they're buying from. Um, so yeah, I mean in that aspect, everything is good. You have an announcement that you did in July. That was the last time that you did in June. I would try to refresh this once a month. That's why I'm sorry. That way, when people are shopping in your store, they don't see that the last announcement was June. They see like, oh, the last announcement was October. So they feel like, oh, this person is very active in their page. So therefore they'll buy from you more. Um, so yeah, I mean, good job with that. Let's look at your down here. So your review. So Your updates are cool because you do put updates on your items. I like the fact that you have your bio, that you connect with people. This is a really good way to connect with people. Some people are emotional buyers. They want to know who they're buying from. They want to contribute to small stores, and they just might buy from you just based on your story. So that's really, really, really nice that you added that there. You have a little slideshow. Good for you. Um, so yeah, I mean overall, is really, really good. Um, be careful with how you respond to comments. Um, so I get it. We take it emotional. I get emotional too, or I take it personal when somebody leaves me a bad review, especially like a long review like this. What I would do is whenever you respond, try to be try to be like really direct at what you're saying. That's great, but try to do it very, very kind. It's so tricky, but I learned that in my store, and I've done the mistake to respond, and you didn't say nothing wrong. It's just when you say the customer has been stalking me for months, it does give it a bad like response. And if I was buying from you, that kind of like, do I want to buy from her? So what I would do, I've been talking to the customer for several months. See how that sounds better than this customer had been stalking me. So I've been maybe in exchange of communication with the customer for a couple months because she wanted a custom made, because she's gonna affect your by the way that you respond, not because of her message, but by the way that you respond, it's going to affect future orders, because there are people out there that are going to be like, oh, she kind of responded in a bad way, do I really want to do service with her? And even though your message is not as bad as mine was, of one of the reviews that I responded back, there are people out there that would take that out of content and say it was a bad response. So I would just be careful with that. I will also, with your photos, I will also try to use making sure that, let's say, this photo and this one all align the same. So maybe something with the same background, something with the same theme. That way you are having a cohesive line that looks the same. Another thing I want to say is that these pictures are not bad, but you could elevate it to something better. That's just my opinion. There's a lot of stuff now. You could do, like, you could buy. I have links below on Creative Market. You could buy a mock-up to put a picture of, like, let's say a necklace like this. You want to take it to the next level. If you don't know how to do that, just look at other shops and see how they're doing it. I personally think it will look better on an actual person. So if you had like a model actually wear your products, I think you could elevate your photos and make more sales. So I definitely think you should do that. If you go to Etsy, just put necklace for women and kind of see what other people are using to kind of get inspired. But you see how if you have something like this, in my opinion, like something like that, it just looks nicer. You see, something like this. If you have like a photo that's attractive, maybe of someone's neck, or like if you have a someone that could model for you, I think that these pictures, in my opinion, are more attractive and people are more prone to click on, because it's just the photo looks way better than having a photo of like a fake manicure or something. So that's just my opinion. I would try to see if you could invest in paying somebody to do it for you, or if you have a model, if you have someone that you could take pictures of and do it, I would recommend doing that. I think it will elevate your store to another level, and then just make sure that when you do that, you do the same with the other stuff, like the earrings, have somebody wear it, the bracelet, have someone wear it, and then instead of just having it on display, actually having someone wear it. And this could be a second or third photo where you just showcase the item by itself. But the main photo has to be compelling, it has to be amazing for that person to be intrigued to say, oh, I want to buy that. I wasn't looking for that, but I want it, right? So that's what you want ultimately. But these are my tips for your store. I hope that this tutorial was helpful. If you guys have any comments or anything that I didn't mention that you think that Renata would benefit from, make sure you leave a comment below. I'm trying to create a sense of community where we come together and we help each other. So thank you guys for watching and have a wonderful night.